And this is where now I'm going to start working my altitudo guard. Okay, so VT guard is what we're shortening it down to. The reason why we call it altitudo, so altitudo in Portuguese means no rules. So it's what MMA called before it were MMA. Okay, so the reason why we kind of play this guard is we use it to stop our opponent's ability to hit us from on top. But it's also really good for submission grappling as well. Because anytime we start tying limbs up and controlling limbs, that's when we also get the opportunity to submit. Okay, so as well as protecting ourselves, it's also an opportunity to submit. We were looking at this on last Tuesday. So Jay's driven in, his head's already down. If it's not, and he's postured up, I have to break posture. So we're going to come on the inside, get his hands onto the mat. I'm going to take his hands nice and wide. All right. So this arm is going to wrap over close towards the shoulder. From this position, I'm going to take my hip out. Okay. So we end up in this kind of weird position where his weight's no longer on top of me. When my hip's in this position, Jay's weight's on top of my hip, so it makes it a little harder to move and do stuff. So when we create this angle, we end up kind of taking his weight down towards the mat. Jay, just come on this way. Okay, so I've got that wrap. Hands on the wrist. If you can't reach your wrist, keep it floating around the bicep. And this is where we go back to the MMA style and stuff. You can't hit me with this hand because I've wrapped over. And if my hand's here protecting at the bicep, it's very difficult for him to hit me. Okay? If I control the wrist and it is an MMA situation, that's where he can roll his wrist. So my preference, especially for mixed martial arts, is to have the hand at the bicep, especially if they're taller than me. Yeah, even if we're just doing submission grappling, Jay's too tall to keep control, but if I keep my hand on the bicep, it's a lot easier to control. Taking my hip out, okay? This leg's going to go over the top, and this is going to go towards the hip, all right? And we're going to start off in this position. So, great posture. Wrap, angle, bicep, and then foot on hip, foot on shoulder. That makes sense? Let's get to that position, guys. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Far side knee. Most of the seats we get the start pretty good. Remember the start's there to kind of keep some control and try and keep the posture broken down. It's not going to keep everyone's posture broken down for too long because when they start kind of posting and doing press ups to kind of power up, that's going to be really difficult in that position. But what really helps is if we focus on that opposite side knee. So you see how I'm kind of separating the arms but my hands stay attached. That's really important, okay, because this helps you kind of track what your next move is, okay. So even though I've kind of opened up, I've still got a little bit of an attachment on this side. Get that wrap over the top, take my hip out, and my hand's always going towards the bicep. This is probably years of being punched in the face from this position, that I automatically keep that connection. Okay, so I'm monitoring that hand. So as soon as he starts digging back, I'm following that hand and I'm looking to protect myself. And remember, if I go towards the bicep, there's not as much movement. Okay? His bicep, when he throws a punch, probably comes at the same angle. If you start trying to grab the hand, he can move that hand and change the angle. Biceps are safe to stop the punching. Okay, so again, creating an angle. Watch what I'm doing with this knee. Some of us at the moment, keeping that knee on the mat, that's not going to help us in any way, shape or form. This is really easy to kill. You guys who were here for the jiu-jitsu class earlier, he can start pinning the knee. So he can start putting that foot on the mat and start killing and pinning that knee. That is a bad position. So as soon as that foot goes on the hip, the knee comes up. It also helps protect with punches. So now if he tries to hit me, I've lessened the angle even more by having that knee up nice and tight. Okay? It also helps me with the neck spray. So try and keep that posture stamped down. He's too strong and he's using this kind of press up to start coming up. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to bring my knee up towards my nose. Leg goes across. In a match or in a fight, I'm going to take the side of my knee and I'm going to drive it into his ear. So I'm going to smack him. In training, I'm not. I'm just going to place my leg over the top and hit my diamond position. But in a fight, I'm going to smack him and bring him over into a tighter diamond position. Okay? If you look at the angle on the leg guys, I can get my knee a lot higher if my knee's in this position. Okay. If I flare my knee down to the mat, as well as having that possibility of being pinned and squished and all that kind of stuff, I can only lift my knee up to this position, whereas if I go here, yeah, it's a lot easier for me to bring that knee up higher. You see, I can kind of collect my own knee as well, so again, yeah, and then start passing that leg into this position. The diamond position, whichever leg goes over the shoulder, is the bottom leg, so the other leg crosses over the top. And then we just get that nice tight squeeze. Okay? So, change the angle. First things first, break posture. Follow that hand, get that nice tight grip. Create the angle into here. I've already realised that I can't stamp him down. So I'm bringing this knee up, through, into my diamond. Yeah? And if I need to tighten things up a little bit, push that arm across. And then we can start working the triangle, those of you who know how to triangle. Okay, let's have a go. 1, 2, 3.